Really quick, everybody, this entire vid will be timestamped, so if you don't want to watch holding and jump straight into a different fight, please check the pinned comment or check the red bar right down below you. Again, this entire vid will be timestamped, and I'd appreciate you guys watching whatever part that you'd like to. If you're sticking around, guys, hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels, and welcome back to our another full card breakdown and predictions, and you can say betting tips, because there's a few fights that I'm betting on this card. Anyways, as always, we're going to go through each fight. I'm going to give my prediction and breakdown for each of them. And again, the timestamps are there if you would like them. Thank you so much for watching in advance, guys. Starting off with the first fight here, Juancamilo Ronderos versus Clayton Carpenter. I'm all over Carpenter for this one, guys. Carpenter has come onto the scene, has looked fantastic. Very well-rounded. I like him. Plus, Ronderos, if I'm not mistaken, has been, I was about to say, it's been a really long layoff. That was the last fight and even lost, so I don't like the inactivity. This guy, on the other hand, has been very active. Take a look at all of his last fights here. Like, he's been really good. He's been, honestly, I want to say he's starched everybody so far, but, like, he's come onto the scene. His wrestling and striking are all good, mixes them well together. I am totally all over the Carpenter train here. This one is one fight that I'm actually going to be betting on. I'm going to Clayton Carpenter in this fight. I'm pretty confident in it. Moving on to the next fight, Fletcher versus Themba Gorimbo. Okay, so this is a very interesting fight for me. I kind of want to pick Fletcher to win. Spoiler alert, I'm not too sure about this one. I like Fletcher. If you take a look at the last fight still, I didn't love it. I don't love it. You know what I mean? Gorimbo's coming in. Take a look at this, okay? So you have Fletcher here. How long has it been again? 5 months, 10 months. He's been active, but still on a 2-fight losing streak here. I think he has a good skill set. I want to say he's going to win this fight, but he's coming off of a couple losses, and Gorimbo has a significant reach advantage. Take a look at this, 76.4 and 67. That is a big reach advantage for a fighter to have. He might have the momentum coming in with a win here, but I think Fletcher has the better all-around skill set, and he's probably going to be stronger. This is a tough one for me. I'm leaning on the side of Gorimbo, but this is definitely not a fight I want to bet on. But my prediction for you today, I'm going to go with Themba Gorimbo, to win this fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if Fletcher pulls it off, like maybe holds him on the ground or something. Again, I can see him like outworking him in the clinch because he's probably going to be a stronger man in this fight. But I'm going to go with Themba Gorimbo in this one. Moving on to the next fight, this is going to be a good one. Nazim Sadykhov versus Evan Elder. This is a really good fight. Something I do want to point out is I'm almost sure that he took this last loss on short notice, but I'm not 100% there. I don't know if there's a way I could check. Regardless, keep that in mind if you're looking at this loss here. So I could say, like, you really could just erase this. If it was on short notice, I'm almost sure it was when he lost. So these guys have been on a pretty good win streak here. However, I like Sadykhov for this one. I think he's very explosive, and I can see Elder trying to take him down or getting in close with the clinch, and Sadykhov, like, don't get me wrong, Sadykhov's a very good all-around fighter. I can see a scenario where Elder is pushing him up against a fence or something, and on the way, Nazim just explodes, like, out of nowhere and knocking him out. I want to say it's going to be a knockout win, but I'm pretty comfortable in picking Nazim Sadykhov to win this one, but Evan Elder is definitely no joke. And remember, that one loss, I'm pretty sure that was on short notice. Regardless, the pick is Sadykhov. No matter what, doesn't really matter. I'm still picking him to win. I think he's gonna win this one by knockout. Moving on to the next fight, Ovince Preux versus Philipe Lins. Okay, guys, I try not to be disrespectful when I'm saying this. Excuse me there. Ovince Preux doesn't have it anymore. I'm so surprised that he won his last fight. Like, he won against Shogun, but even then, Shogun isn't a good win anymore. Look how Shogun looked in his last fight. Look how Shogun has looked in any of his fights. So that was 9 months ago. He's probably, the age is definitely catching up to him. The damage is catching up to him. And it always looks like he doesn't want to be there, especially in recent times. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to come here. I'm going to lose. I'm going to get my paycheck. And who did he win against here? Oh yeah, it was Alonzo Menifield. That was an okay win, but still, I'm so surprised by that. And that was also 2 years ago. The dude's been inactive. He beat Shogun. Might as well just erase that, because then you could take some random guy and he can beat Shogun at this point. Probably the same with Ovince Preux if you're picking at somebody at the same weight. Now, Philipe Lins hasn't been that impressive himself. He's lost the Andrei Arlovski test, which is like, if you have a heavyweight, you want to throw him to the top division, put him against Andrei Arlovski. If they beat Andrei Arlovski, no matter how old Arlovski gets, if they beat him, he can go into the top division. Looks like this dude's a real deal, but he lost Andrei Arlovski. So that's a test there. Then he lost to Tanner Boser, which also hasn't aged the best, but still, he's coming off of a win right now 9 months ago. Both these guys have fought 9 months ago, which is very interesting. Now, yeah, I don't care about the stylistic matchup for this one. I'm not going to lie to you. I just think Preux does not have it anymore, and I'm going to pick anybody in the division, no matter whether they're ranked or not. I'm never picking Ovince Preux to win again, and it's sad to say, like, again, I don't mean to be disrespectful in that sense, but the dude, he, like I said, he doesn't want to win anymore. He doesn't have it. I'm picking against him for sure. I'm going to definitely be betting on this one. I'm going to go with Monstro to win this fight. I don't know how, maybe decision. But regardless, I think he's going to win. Moving on to the next fight. This is going to be a good one. Jemall Emmers versus Khusein Askhabov. Okay, I've been really high on Askhabov. Take a look at the record. It speaks for itself, okay? 23-0. You don't see this very often. That's why it's really exciting. So here's a big problem, though. Big problem that I want to talk about. I'll say this first, okay? I think that Askhabov is better at Emmers everywhere. He has a fantastic skill set, all-around fighter. I think this comes down to, like, just take a look at the records, and it speaks for itself, okay? I can't believe that he is only a minus 150 favorite. 23-0 versus 18-6. And if you take a look at those records, like, yeah, you know what? Pat Sabatini is a good win, but still, lost to Giga Chikadze too. His losses have aged okay in recent times, but still, he ended up losing those fights. And I'm really high on this dude, okay? Here's the problem. I'm getting a little bit of a flashback from when Ottman last fight. Remember Ottman? Everybody was so hyped on him. I was on that train too. He was coming on off a really long layoff. I'm like, no, dude, it doesn't matter. This dude's been starching everybody. I can't wait to see him fight. He's going to go in there and steamroll his opponent. But then he got chinned right away. Ring rust is a real thing, and we cannot forget that. 2 years and 11 months ago. That's something very important to consider. I don't know if that makes me want to pick him. If he was active and still winning, I'd pick him all day. But I don't like how long he's been off. Okay? Keep that in mind. Definitely not betting on this one for that reason, because Ottman just brought me right back into reality with that. I think I got away from it a little bit. But I think Askhabov is better everywhere. Everywhere in the skill set. He'll piece him up on the feet. If he wants to take him down, he could probably find a submission. No disrespect towards Emmers, because again, his losses have aged okay, the recent ones. But I still got to go Askhabov here. I think he's going to take this one. Moving on to the next fight, guys, and there's nothing else to say about this one. Lina Lansberg versus Mayro Bruno Silva. Okay, look at the odds. Look at the records. Self-explanatory. 3-fight losing streak. It looked horrible, too. 10-7. Why is she in the UFC? 40 years old. No thank you. I like the girl that's in her prime. I like the girl that's minus 400. I like the girl with a clear, better skill set in general. She's looked okay in the other last 2 fights. Yeah, this one's self-explanatory. Lina Lansberg is done. She's out the window. She's going to be 10-8 after this one. I'm pretty confident in saying that. Probably, I don't know how, though. I could see her getting a finish. But still, yeah, Lansberg has no chance in this fight. Moving on again to the next fight. One of my favorite fighters in the history of the UFC, Jim Miller. And I promise you I won't be biased in picking this, okay? Jim Miller versus Alexander Hernandez. So it's my favorite fighter, like one of my favorite fighters of all time, versus a guy who makes it very difficult to like him, to be honest with you. But still, great fighter, Alexander Hernandez. He's had his fair share of hiccups. Here's I don't know what to do with this fight, okay? Jim Miller has had a huge resurgence in his career. He won his last 3 fights real good. Like, you know what? Ignore the Donald Cerrone one, because you could say, like, he has the same Preux effect where he's just done. But still, he looked fantastic in these last 2 fights. Like he's not 39. He looked like he was young. Jim Miller has been on a roll. He's great everywhere. Great takedowns, great striking, a veteran in the game. He's fantastic. Hernandez is so, like, what do you say, inconsistent. One day he'll show up and he'll look like, wow, dude, you can actually win the title in this fight, because he's going to come in there, be explosive, and just starch the guy. But then there's other times you're like, is this dude really in the UFC right now? He's always fought good opponents. Like, take a look at his last few fights, okay? He's fought great opponents. But still, he comes in and I don't know what to make of him. This fight's way up in the air for me, because at what point, like, Jim Miller's not just going to keep winning forever. Okay, he's 39. He's way out of his prime. I don't know if he's still dealing with Lyme disease or not. But still, that's got to wear and tear on you too, right? At some point, Jim Miller's going to hit the wall, and he doesn't look like it's there yet. Well, it's going to be one of those times where we'll have to, like, wait and see, where it's like, oh, okay, Jim Miller, you look slow now. You are not ready to be in the UFC anymore. You know what I mean? Hernandez, though. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention is Hernandez is taking this on short notice. So I don't know. This is like one of those complete 50-50 fights for me. I have no clue to pick in this one. I want Jim Miller to win. But Hernandez is coming in. Sometimes those short notice guys win too. If you want to come on a short notice, maybe Jim Miller is the guy to do it, because he can probably chin him. Or maybe chin him. I don't know. Very, very tough fight. The whole point is, like, the short notice thing. It's like, he doesn't have any pressure on him. He can come in, make some money. A guy that's not, like, super, super dangerous. But Jim Miller has looked dangerous in his last few fights. I don't know what to make of this fight. Complete 50-50 for me. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one. Moving on to the next fight, it's going to be a little bit more of inconsistency on my end, okay? William Knight versus Marcin Prachino. Okay. William Knight, inconsistent. Like Alexander Hernandez. I don't know what to make of him. He's coming down. Oh, here's something to mention, okay? He's 251 pounds. He's moving down to light heavyweight for this fight. We don't know how he's going to look there, and he's a huge guy. Is he going to have a problem making weight? There are way too many question marks for me to pick William Knight here. In general, he's a questionable fighter. Like, take a look at his last losses. You know what I mean? Both fighters have been pretty inactive. But Marcin isn't, like, the best fighter either. Okay? Like, it's just like they're both mid-tier fighters. But I got to go with Prachino in this fight because I don't like that there's too many question marks around William Knight. He very well could win. If he looks as big and strong as he does, because the dude is built like, I don't even know, he's built like an elephant. He's huge. He's strong. If he's healthy down there at 205, he might be able to win this fight. He can grab a hold of him. He can knock him down, knock him out, whatever he wants to do. Too many question marks for me to pick him. I'm going with Marcin to win this fight. Moving on to the next fight, and guys, this one should be fun. Josh Parisian versus Jemall Pogues. Okay, so here's the thing. Jemall, I think, is better everywhere. I think he's a better technician. If you've ever watched Josh fight, he's very, very sloppy. He relies a lot on the regular heavyweight thing where it's just, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to knock you out. If he gets on top of you, that's a little bit of a problem. If he knocks you down, gets on top of you, you're probably not getting up. But, again, very sloppy. I think Jemall's better everywhere. If he wants to take him down, he probably could. I think he'll pick him apart in the striking, but it's heavyweight. Anything can happen. Don't be surprised if Josh pulls it off. I think the odds are, like, pretty good here. Like, I mean, pretty good in the sense, like, where it's accurate, not like it's worth betting on, because I don't think this is a good bang for your buck, because anything can happen at heavyweight, especially when Josh Parisian's fighting, right? So, I don't like it. I think he's going to be quicker, Jemall, especially since he used to be a light heavyweight. I think he's going to be quicker. I think he's a better technician. I think he can do what he wants. He just might get caught. That's the thing. But I'm going with Jemall. Definitely not a fight to bet on. I'm picking Jemall, though. Moving on to the next fight, Zach Pauga versus Jordan Wright. So here's an interesting fight. You want to know why? It's a heavyweight moving down to light heavyweight, and it's a middleweight moving up to light heavyweight. I wonder who's going to have the speed advantage. Not really, like in case you thought I wasn't being sarcastic there. It was a horrible joke. I'm sorry. Jordan Wright is obviously going to be faster. However, I can't bet on him. He's won one of his last 5. Even, like, taking a look at who he fought, like, it's not losses that aged very well, but Zach, he's coming off of a horrible loss. Usman just murdered him. So, then again, it's tough. I thought Pauga was going to win against Usman in that fight. Excuse me. Usman, you could say, like, you know what, maybe he was a little bit too big for that fight. I don't know. You can make excuses for it. He just didn't get the chance to get going, and I feel bad for him. He was on a roll. I really thought he was going to beat Usman, so unless his chin just went away from that, I think he's going to take the win. He's going to be the bigger guy, even though he won't be as fast. Jordan Wright is chinny, and you have Zach Pauga, who just has huge power in his hands and is very accurate with his punches, too. I like him to win this fight. I don't like Jordan Wright because unless you happen to go up at 205, you're more hydrated, your chin works better. That's a possibility. But I think Zach's got this one, man. I cannot see Jordan Wright winning this one. I think he's going to get chin. I think he's going to get finished. I think he's going to get knocked out. I'm going with Zach Pauga to win this fight. Moving on to the main event, and guys, I gotta say, I'm usually not excited for women's main events because, of course, like the divisions just aren't as deep, and you don't have a lot of technical fighters. But these two are actually like really, really good fighters. Jessica Andrade versus Erin Blanchfield. I don't know how I feel about Blanchfield yet because she's coming off of a fantastic win against Molly McCann. She looked great. I want to say like it could have been a 10-7 round if that wouldn't have got finished. You know what I mean? She's looked great so far. She's done her thing, got takedowns, and just done her work. She's great. But Jessica Andrade is also great. You know what I mean? Coming off of a big win. Okay, here's the thing. I like that Erin is coming off of a much, much better win in Molly McCann. I'm not saying Molly McCann's like great or anything. I don't think she's nearly toward the top of the division, but at least she was on a little bit of a roll, and she just put a stop to that and looked great doing it. Both women are coming off of an amazing performance. The problem is Jessica Andrade is coming off of a win against Lauren Murphy, who absolutely sucks. So how much can you really put into that? But even then, her last wins have all looked great. All looked great. The only problem she ran into was Valentina Shevchenko, but who doesn't run into that as a problem? You know what I mean? That makes me think, though. Valentina took her down, and we saw her being able to be controlled on the ground, Jessica Andrade. That's going to be Erin's whole game plan. So can she get her down? Is Jessica going to do anything about it? She's obviously not training. Oh, and I didn't even mention it. She's obviously not training for this, Jessica Andrade, because she took this fight on very short notice. She's a great fighter. But she obviously wasn't training. And her whole last training camp consisted of a striker because Lauren Murphy's not going to take you down. I like Erin in this one. But this is a toughie to pick, man. Jessica's so good. She hits so hard for women. I don't know who to pick. If you made me pick, if you had a gun to my head, I'm like 55-45 Erin Blanchfield on this one. I would imagine Jessica's still in shape because, yeah, she won 3 weeks ago. What am I saying? Like, I knew it was recent. I didn't know it was 3 weeks ago. I don't know, man. I don't know. Definitely not one to bet on. The odds are close too. I'm a little bit surprised at Jessica's. No, you know what? No, I'm not. 23-31. Jessica definitely has the experience. I've been bouncing around on this one, guys, but it's definitely a better main event. I'm excited for this one, actually, and I'm never excited for women's MMA. I got to go with Blanchfield. That's my pick, but I'm not sure about it. If you're taking any of my advice in this video, don't take my advice for this video. Here's my advice. Don't bet on this fight. It's a tough fight. It's going to be a good one. I'm interested to see if Erin Blanchfield gets past Jessica Andrade. I'm going to be convinced she's a real deal, but so far, her best opponent has been Molly McCann, and I'm not convinced of Molly McCann either. Regardless, I'm excited for this fight. I'm never excited for women's MMA fights. So let me know what you guys think about this down below. But that's going to do it for all the picks, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new here and you enjoy the content, please consider like button will help the channel a ton. And subscribe if you are brand new. Check description down below for links to all of my other channels. And let me know what you thought about all of these picks, especially for the main event. And what was that other fight I was having a problem with? Jemall versus Alexander Hernandez, because I don't know what to think about those two. So if you have any idea and you got to pick for that one, because again, it's 50-50 for me. So that's going to be a tough one. Regardless, guys, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching this video.